or to figure out exactly if it's going to be implemented, exactly when it does get used versus when it doesn't. It seems like every decision, every
that's ridiculous.
moment in the match, every goal, right? He was referring to the VAR to see if there was an issue, and that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
that should not be the case.
Absolutely.
It seemed like the next step was to not even have a referee, and
Right.
that's not where we want the game to go. That's why I make the comment that I think that the referees should have the power to use it. I mean, they when you feel like the referees had the game taken out of his hands, it's almost like bedlam. And then I think if you've got good referees, that you should empower them to use it when they feel like they need to use it. And you know what? Look, it's no different than seeking a foul. I mean, there's subtle nuance, seeking a penalty in the box. I mean, there's subtle nuances to our game. And as Vass said, there's a human element to refereeing. And that element is brought into the game, and it's part of the game. I mean, for fuck's sake, I mean, we're a club that basically missed Champions League because we didn't have goal line technology that missed, Pedro Mendez's goal that was a 3 feet, over the line at Old Trafford. I mean, that's variance. I think these things balance out.
There is a human element, Sam, like you said, but fans aren't prepared to accept it anymore.
Well, the stakes are so high now, right?
Yeah,
could really be. I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
No, I don't think that fans, even newer fans, let alone the old guard, are ready for the game to be completely sanitized and be so almost over officiated that it becomes. It lessens the enjoyment of the game. I recall beginning of the week, I listened to Flav, and he was over on the Fighting Cock, and he was talking about what I want is for play to happen, a goal to be scored, and me be able to jump out of my skin with excitement, and now they're taking that away from me because I'm going to go, wait, what's VAR going to say? I'm not going to be able to enjoy the moment as much as I did before, and I fully understand what he's talking about. Even Martin Glenn, who's the chief executive for the FA, said that the first goal was wrongfully disallowed, and it should have been a goal for Eric Lamela at that point. And there's a lot of video going around of Sonny taking that same exact spot kick for South Korea and not having it waved with VAR implemented in that match.
That was a wrong call anyway.
What, the Sonny call?
Yeah, that was a wrong call.
It came to a complete stop. You can't do that.
No. You can. You can't come to the complete stop at the end of your run.
But that's exactly what he did. He stopped right before he kicked the ball.
No, he never. He stopped, and then he ran again, and then he kicked the ball. Watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah, both.
If he'd have got to the end of his run and stopped in order to make the goalie fall, then that's unsporting behaviour. And you see Ronaldo do it, and you see other players do it. They run, they hesitate, they carry on again. I don't agree with it personally. I think if you're going to take a penalty, you just run up to the thing and kick it.
Yeah, and again, definitive rules, right?
I don't buy into all this. Yeah, I don't buy into this pausing halfway through. I think that's unsportsmanlike anyway. But the law is written in a way that allows it, as long as you don't get to the end of your run and then stop or feign or whatever the word is. But
Vass.
Anyway, it'd be interesting to see what happens in the World Cup. Come on.
Vass, for international competitions, is that different? Because I thought on like the World Cup and the Euro, you can't stop at all on your run. Wasn't that
because
a
it's
tournament rule?
No, it's the IFAB rules. So it's law. It's international law.
Yeah, it would not change across any concept of the game.
No.
Right.
You might have competition rules for the competition, i.e. determining, extra time penalties, things like that. But you can't sort of mess with the actual laws of the game unless they're trialing something, I suppose. But, it'd be interesting to see what happens in the World Cup in the summer. It could be, if it gets really farcical in the summer, then, although I think, was it yesterday or the day before, they've decided that they're definitely going to be going ahead with it in the Premier League and some other leagues as well, I think. So it's really weird. I don't get what's going on, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it really needs to be ironed out.
Definitely going to use it, so we'll see what happens. I'm sure this will not be the last time that we speak of VAR on this show, as well as the other podcasts that are out there. So
I hope it is.
Yeah, we hope it is for sure. I doubt it, though. Let's move on. 2-0 win over Huddersfield put us into a very good position with some of the fixtures. Arsenal have just lost recently here about 20 minutes ago to Brighton. So congratulations to Chris Hughton and the boys there. Chelsea and City are getting ready to kick off at the time of recording. So chairs, Huddersfield, Spurs. It wasn't the most lit up, exciting fixture to watch, but it was another one where we went out and did the business. I'm interested to get your take on this one.
Can I stop laughing at Arsenal first?
We should laugh at Arsenal.
Two things that are inevitable on the Hotspur America. We talk about the weather, and we talk about the Arsenal.
We haven't talked about the weather. But
we did. We started the weather with
snowy.
snow.
Well, it's not the weather here.
No,
it's the weather
London.
then. Anyway, we've always got to laugh at Arsenal. Anyway, back to the Huddersfield match. Yeah, we kind of... It was I don't think we peppered them with meaningful efforts. There were a lot of half efforts that just kind of were bouncing around the box, going wide. But yeah, we definitely owned them. They just couldn't seem to get out of their own half, particularly in that first half. There were threats from Huddersfield were breaking away. I think Hugo had to make one good stop in the second half. But yeah, it was a game you didn't think Tottenham were in any danger of giving up points in. The two Son goals were just brilliant, very well put together moves to create. Particularly because I think it started right inside our half from Kane and then to Dele with the final pass to Son. And, I thought, and correct me on this, if the Son of old that we would be frustrated with would have taken the first shot instead of having a little patience to go around the keeper. Mm-hmm. And that's where I see the difference in where he's coming along and being that offensive threat. And then as much as it was a great goal from him in the second half, that cross from Kane was just sex on toast. It was brilliant. And I think everyone picked up on that because we all see what Kane does with the ball in the final third. We don't always see what he does off the ball or in his contributions in setting up, whether it's an assist before the assist, as they say in hockey. But his movement, his play drops deep, contributes to the overall effort of the team. And that was it was delightful. He looked up, he saw where he was. He knew I'm probably not going to get it on his bounce, but if I give it the bounce, it's going to create the direction for him to score if he goes far side, and he did. And it was fantastic.
Gave me chills. I mean, it reminded me of some of the stuff that I saw growing up as a kid when Huddle would not only make an unbelievable pass, but he would pass it in such a manner that when it bounced, it would roll back or spin back into the oncoming player. And when I saw that, I really believe that he had he knew exactly what he was doing.
Right.
He knew that ball was going to hit the ground and then come on to Son like it did. And it wasn't an easy goal. It wasn't an easy header. It was. He is, forget about all the goals, which, obviously are amazing. He is a complete footballer. He is a fantastic, what we're watching. And, Chairs, your favorite's probably my favorite, right? And I think of how high I hold him in regard. But Kane's on his way to becoming the greatest player we've ever had. He's obviously got plenty of work to do there, but he's well on his way. To be the greatest player.
Yeah, centre forwards have no business crossing balls.
Right. That's exactly how I thought about it.
Yeah, that was a joy to behold.
Vass, you've seen a lot of football. I'm assuming you're right in line with the thinking of Simon and Sam on this one.
No, he's calling me old.
Calling you seasoned.
Yeah, seasoned. Yeah.
Can you hear him, Vass?
No, yeah. Cheers, mate.
Iron skillet.
No, it was a fantastic pass. As soon as he made it, you knew. Actually, Son surprised me that he took it so early on his head. I thought he might want to chest it and then take a shot, but he did absolutely the right thing by taking it so early. But, we've come to expect these kind of passes from Kane now. We've seen it in previous games. Crossfield passes, right foot, left foot. His vision and awareness of the players around him is just phenomenal, and he's far more than just a goal scorer. We've seen that. We've seen him tracking back in the left back position to cover, and we've seen him clearing corners away with his head. And he's just a complete player for us, and he's so important. Just him being on the pitch, I think, just kind of lifts everybody. And that was a phenomenal ball.
That's a great point. Like I don't want to knock anything about Hudl because he's probably my favorite player in Spurs history, but he wasn't the leader that Harry was. I mean, I think people recognized him for the skill that he had, but I'm not sure that he was the player that Kane is to sort of get behind. But he did something yesterday, like when he took that ball, which I used to remember Hudl do all the time. He said that like Hudl had like eyes in the back of his head. He had this just sort of sense of where people were and where people were going to be. And Kane looked up, and he didn't look up for more than a half second, and he knew what he was.
Quick look. He just quick look and just knew.
I mean, the hairs on my arms are standing up as I think about it. It's just absolutely remarkable. What I thought was cool about yesterday, it may not have been like the most exciting game, but that was one of the more comfortable performances we've had. Like we looked and played proudly, confidently. Like you think of those 2 goals, we scored 2 gorgeous goals in 2 completely different styles of play. I thought Yan was again just absolutely like we just did things so confidently. Like his play was so confident. Davies' play was so confident. We kept the ball. We were patient, and that's a team that that's a difficult fixture. That's a team that's fighting for survival, has a lot to play for, has a good manager, a good style of play. And we really cruised to that. I mean, short of that inch shot that Hugo had to save, we was pretty comfortable, right?
Yeah, but the way Huddersfield came to play, I thought initially was quite open, and it was funny that once we took the lead, that's when they retreated and went back into their shell. Really odd. And they defended a lot better. But like you say, we controlled the game. It was comfortable, and once we went 2-0 up, you could just tell that the players just shifted down a gear, and you could see that in the back of their minds, Juventus on Wednesday, let's not do anything silly, just see the game out. And that was good. I think preserved some energy. But I think Huddersfield did have a somewhat of a game plan. I think they went man-to-man on Dembele. I think he's being recognised now as being so influential for us that he'll get a lot of treatment like that.
And they couldn't get the ball from him yesterday.
They couldn't. But at the same time, he didn't really have one of his better games for us as a result. So, yeah, it was an interesting game. It was comfortable, and we got the 3 points, and that's what you could ask for now, really.
Yeah, and I think some of that too may have been contributed to the fact, I can't remember if it was first half or early second half, but he took quite a bit of a knock and ran about for another 15 minutes before they subbed him off with Sissoko. So I'm interested here in a few minutes to listen to Timmy's injury update to see if there's any new news on that Dembele injury, or if we're going to have to wait until tomorrow. Simon, we were looking at fixture comparisons in Huddersfield. Obviously, I think I can't remember if it's Sunderland or Hull or whoever they get compared to, but we have a very good kind of run going here. 17 straight undefeated in all competitions. I think it's 12, 5-0, as well as I believe top of the form guide.
Yes, so I think I mentioned last week we're going to come into, and I think it starts next week, where we started dropping points in the corresponding fixture to last season. So right now we're still 10 points behind as we were last week. We're 4 points behind our cumulative points total from last season. But next week for Bournemouth, we drew their last season, so that was a drop point. Newcastle at home, that's a different fixture. But again, we go from 69 to 72 before we start picking up points, and then right up until the end of the season is when we drop a point. So we can make some ground there. Again, we're on target. What have we got left? 9 games, is that right?
Yep.
9 games, so add the 27, we can only be at 85. If we win all those games, then we would still be a point behind last season, which we know that was a high water mark. It was a record for us in the Premier League, and I think somebody had said that would have won the title like 3 or 4 times over the last 20 years in the Premier League. So I think we know where we're likely to drop points. We would hope we would not. But I think this game that's kicking off at 10 o'clock our time with City and Chelsea is going to be pivotal. Obviously, City are going to run away with the title. We want them to beat Chelsea, keep them below us, so that when we go to Stamford Bridge, even if we drop points, they still can't overtake us. So And then we talked. It's funny how we talked last week about the lack of contributions so far from those who were in the 20